and welcome back to my channel. Today I am talking about exciting things. I'm talking about disc brake pads. Fantastic world. So there's some new ones are stuck on with a titanium retaining pin just for a bit of bling. So yeah, why I'm talking about pads is I've struggled to find the right pads for me, for my style of riding. You know, lots of enduro type riding, summer riding, winter riding, all that kind of good stuff. So I put this video together to hopefully give a bit of guidance if you've got an SL type of e-bike, so what I call a semi-e-bike. I'm going to trademark that. So what I've done is I've played with different compounds, different pads, and I'm kind of going to talk you through what I found using the different types of pads. So first of all, the brakes that come with the SRAM RSs. So RS and RSC use the same four piston caliper. The RSCs are just made of a higher quality, so this applies to RS and RSC SRAM brakes. So these come as a standard on the bike. These are metallic pads, so no organic pads on the bike at all, which you'd expect. Now, I didn't find these pads great. If you look at the grain on the pads, if you look at the surface of the pad, there isn't a lot of grippy, you know, coarse compounds in there, pretty smooth. So these come off the bike pretty quickly. That's why they've got quite a bit of pad life left on them. Didn't really rate these, even up after I upgraded the levers to RSCs. So what I did was I quite like Uber bike brakes, the brake pads. So I went with their Race-matrix pads that I've used on other bikes. So the Race-matrix, these are for a standard, what I call an analog bike, obviously not an e-bike, but these are not, because they're not e-bike specific. I again found these pads were slightly better than the standard SRAM ones, but weren't much better and weren't very good in the wet. So again, lots of pad left because they went on the bike for long. And then, I don't have the exact ones for my bike, tried to play around with some semi-metallic Nukeproofs. Again, they weren't adequate for the bike. These ones for my Hope E4s, for my Canyon Torque. Put them on, again, wasn't wowed by them. So then replaced them recently. So these ones have just come off the bike. These are sintered pads. So these are the, again, Uber bike sintered pads. You can see they've got a lot more coarse materials in there for better stopping power. Now these were fantastic, love these. Problem is how long they lived. Again, because they're not e-bike specific. I mean, look how worn they are. I mean, I think I've had these on the bike about 2 months. Also on an e-bike, you're doing more miles. Even though it's an SL, you are still carrying that extra weight, which translates to a lot more pad wear. You can see here, and quite a lot of, I don't know, scoring on the pad. So really like these, but I didn't like the pad life on them. So these, you're really looking on these kind of bikes, looking at sinter type Kevlar level of pad. So what I've done now is, even though it's not a full-blown e-bike, I've gone for the Race-matrix pads. Got to be careful not to contaminate these, because you can see my fingers are a bit minging. So I've gone for the actual Race-matrix e-bike specific pads this time, because these promise longer life. And if you look, there's quite a lot of material in there. It's give that extra coarseness, that extra friction, that extra stopping power. So I'm putting these on now, and I'm going to give these a try. So I hope this video is of use. If you've got an SL there in a bike, whether it's a Trek, whether it's a Specialized, whether it's the brand that are doing these type of, you know, lightweight e-bikes, and you're not sure what pads to go for. If you're like trail sensor, you like heavy braking, you like to keep that, minimize that brake fade, want stopping in the wet and in the dry, steer away from the original, steer away from anything that's semi-metallic. Sintered are good. Kevlar probably good. That's probably the only compound type I haven't tried. They're really good, but again, it's just wear levels. I'm hoping these Race-matrix pads do the job. Now I know majority of these are Uber bike pads, but when you look at other vendors that you might run, you're gonna have a similar kind of style of pad, similar type of compound. Uber bikes, they do make really affordable pads. So I would advise, you know, definitely going for the sintered if you're happy replacing your pads on a regular basis, or maybe trying the e-bike specific Race-matrix. So once I've used these for a couple of months. I've got a race in March. I'll see how they fare and kind of report back. So I hope this video was of use. If you've got any questions about the pads, the experience, want to ask any more questions, you can do. Alternatively, you can just go to Uberbike's website and have a look for yourself. If you click into each pad type, I've obviously had all of them except them under Uberbike's brand, click into them, they'll kind of tell you what. It won't say necessarily if it's metallic, semi-metallic with the Race-matrix, but it'll kind of give you an indication of what the pad usage is. But yeah, I'd recommend trying these bad boys. Don't just do them for obviously code, or should I say SRAM or Avid brakes. They're doing for a whole host of different ones like Hope, any others. So yeah, thank you for watching, and please feel free to ask me any questions.